if your instrument has metal tangents and you can't screw down the mounting screw into the tangent effectively anymore, if it's not holding, it's very likely that the mounting nut on the back of the key has come out of the key. So you can see there's one in position here, but this one has a big empty hole where the little metal nut should be. This might have happened because maybe you pushed too hard while screwing or unscrewing and it popped loose. Either way, it's a pretty easy repair. What we'll do, take some super glue or crazy glue, put a drop or two around the edge of the hole, try to smear it around as best you can, but don't make too big of a mess because the extra glue squeeze out can cause a problem in a few minutes, as I'll show you. Get the nut lined up in the hole and press it in there really good. In this case, I'm just using a file. I'm using the handle end. I just press it in there real good. Let it dry for several hours before doing anything else. I can't emphasize that strongly enough because if you have freshly glued it and then you go to reinstall it in the instrument and you screw the mounting screw down in there, what will happen is the glue will cause it to harden and fuse into one solid piece. You will never again be able to get it out. That's a big hassle. So once you glue it on there, let it dry, good couple of hours, maybe even overnight, you'll be fine. After that point, you'll want to clean out the threads of the screw. I'll demonstrate on this top one because we just freshly glued that and I just explained the warning there. But before you put it in the instrument, you'll take the screw that holds the tangent in place. You'll go ahead and thread it through from the back. Why am I doing this? Let me get it started here. This can be a little tricky. When you glue it in, there's going to be a little glue squeeze out, and that's going to go in to some degree into the actual threads of the metal nut. That's going to prevent it from screwing effectively. So I'm doing it from the back, so when I press in, it's not going to pop the nut out. It'll just, if anything, re-secure it into the key of the instrument. I'm just going to gently screw back and forth, and I do feel some resistance, like there is some glue clogging up the threads of that little metal nut. So I'm just going back and forth until it's screwed in really good. Back and a little resistance. I'm working on it. There it goes. And I think I got it because it's screwing pretty easily now. That's what I mean by cleaning up the threads. Once it goes back and forth pretty easily, I would double check all my little nuts. So once that dries after a few hours, I would do the same process. Then I would put it back in the instrument. I know that it's going to screw in pretty easily from the top when I'm mounting the tangents. That's all there is to that. Here we have an instrument with wooden tangents. If we're having difficulties with wooden tangents, like you see this one is flopped over sideways, let's say it's so floppy it won't even stay upright anymore, it won't hold its position, we can fix that as well. First thing we want to do is just to remove the wooden tangent, the offender. See, I just popped it out there. There's two possible solutions here. The stem of the tangent, the little post that slides down into the key, we can rub some rosin on that and put it back in. Normally that'll do the trick. However, if you've rosined it and it's still floppy loose and not gripping really well, there's another trick with crazy glue. You can take crazy glue and just put a drop and smear it around on the key, on the shaft of the tangent post. That will swell the grain out a little bit. However, if you do use super glue or crazy glue, let it dry for at least several hours before proceeding, because if you reinstall this into the instrument with the wet crazy glue, they will fuse together and glue into one piece. We don't want that. So you put your glue on it, you let it dry for several hours, then you can reinstall it. The glue will swell the grain out of the post, and that'll make for a tighter fit so it won't be sloppy loose. And that's how you do that.